you kind of need everything for at least the basalt weapon mold or the slate weapon mold. It has to be the same rarity in order to make it. It's not the same as crafting where you have some of this and you have some of this and you can mix it together and it comes out to be like whatever the average is between those materials. Processing needs to be the same as crafting where you can mix and match rarity.
Wouldn't start easy. Let's start easy and go artisan. Let's start slow.
Okay.
It's been a minute. We'll warm up to it. And real quick, just to respond to Oracle. Yeah, it was the Tombstone quest, by the way. That's what I was talking about.
So, for those of you that are watching us live, here is the link. For those of you watching our replay crew, feel free to check out the description. I put all the links in there already, so they're already ready for you to go and check out. This one is, how do you feel about the current iteration of the crafting system in AshesofCreation? And the options got removed by the person who did it, but the options were, I love it. Hi, Mio. How's it going? I love it, and there's nothing to improve. I like it, but I could use some improvements, and I don't like the system. And from what I saw, a lot of them were I like it, but I could use some improvements, which is typical of an alpha, right? But at least we're on the right path. Hello, Code. Welcome in. So what are your thoughts? Do you like it? Is it kind of where you thought it would be, or do you think that there's like it leaves more to be desired?
I would say that there's more to be desired still, but that's kind of expected. I think they've already kind of said it's just it's a work in progress at the moment.
Yes.
So I mean that there's nothing negative about saying that there's more left to be desired, but I mean I like the direction they're going with it. The interdependency between the different artisan classes is just bananas.
I agree. Looking at a lot of between at least Lineth and I'm sure a couple of the other servers are like Vira are experiencing this, where we're getting to the journeyman level stage things, and you're starting to see this interplay between the different crafting systems. I mean, already at Apprentice, there's a little bit where like you might need one of these from here or one of these from there, but most of it's primarily still within your own artisanship. But then once you hit journeyman level, like end of T2, beginning of T3 things, you're seeing like, I need this from here and that from there and this from here. And cheers to Phantom. Glad to see you too. Glad to see you too,
Thank
Phantom.
You. Cheers.
Thank you.
Zeke immediately says, oh God, don't look at my channel. This guy. Yeah. I feel it's odd that gatherers get more XP based on rarity, where they have zero choice on what rarity they get, where processors and crafters should get more XP for them for using more valuable items. I agree. This would keep crafters from spam building just gray level items. I will say after crafting, because I typically would do processing, I typically go for the alchemical side of things. I noticed that if I made the same item, be it gray or green, I got the same XP. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what the rarity of the item. And I don't know how I feel about that personally. Typically, I do processing side, so I feel like the processing does kind of follow that same thing, where if you're doing something more rarity, it's a higher level. I actually don't know if I paid attention to that because I mass produce inks for like the scribes, for example. So I think I was just kind of burning through them pretty quickly without noticing any differences. But I did notice gathering like a common bluebell versus a legendary bluebell was vastly different in XP. So yeah. We're talking about like the actual XP that you gain from crafting the item, because when you gather an item, you get artisan XP, but you also get like adventuring XP. I felt like some crafts gave more, i.e. legendary, but uncommon, etc. didn't. That's a good point. Requires a bit more testing. But I also heard that rarity is broken, and Vertec, I'm sure you can talk to that a little bit. Yeah, I didn't take note on the processing side of things if experience was different between
different quality levels, mainly because I was doing exactly that. As a cook, I was just pumping out gray, like common stuff constantly for leveling, and mainly because I was doing fishing to support my cooking addiction. And most of the fish I got were all white common level. So now I have a bunch of green stuff saved up that I can start cooking. So I can actually try to test the common versus uncommon, and maybe try to do some heroic or rare, because I got some rare fishes.
Yeah.
But I feel it definitely should have a little bit tied into the rarity as well, because for one, yeah, if you're gonna make a legendary item, it should give you legendary experience, right? Not just common experience.
Yeah, I agree.
And on top of that, wait, was it? This is join.
Yeah, it was join.
Okay. I was like, wait, I think that was it. I went into autopilot and typed it out. And I said, wait, is that right? Yes.
Second guessed yourself right after.
Yeah, I did. Experience back pay. Yes. Jelly the beans. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a thing. It should, but you know what it does do is it creates more rarity of powerful items on the market, because crafters, and I don't have any crafting professions or leveled up like at all. I'm doing purely processing where I can. I think I have the one gathering I do is fishing. Well, no, I do hunting as well. So hunting and fishing. Mm-hmm. But yeah. If a crafter doesn't get more experience from creating a higher quality item, then they're going to be crafting the higher quality stuff purely for friends, or on consignment, or to guilds and such like that. They're going to probably keep that more closely guarded and not really put it out on the marketplace. That's my theory on it. Create more scarcity out there in the world.
Yeah, Oracle one. Sorry, I think Legendary Neurotoxin tried to join in, but was typing their whole thing, and then they joined in too late because of that. But Neurotoxin said fishing and hunting rarity are still busted. I believe Steven said that the hunting system won't get the full rarity until they stand up the whole hunting system. I'd imagine the fishing mini game or whatever other features that they add are where the rarity will come into. But I've also noticed a lot of the things, like outside of hunting and outside of fishing, the trees and the rocks and the flowers, they all have what feels like a static rarity system where you can essentially camp a tree or a rock or whatever, and it will be the same later. And that's exactly what this person on Reddit kind of gave some feedback for. And hi, Keyboard Oracle. They said that the current gathering system, this is from Mr. Man Mode, if AshesofCreation presents a challenge for casual players. High rarity resources spawn on a fixed timer, which is true, with consistent locations, currently true. Allowing experienced players to create efficient farming routes and monopolize these spawns, also true. We have people in the guild with hundreds of legendary woods of various types, including willow, and this creates an uneven playing field where players who don't meticulously track spawn timers and locations are at a significant disadvantage. The one note I will say is this seems to change about every 24 hours, meaning that after that time frame ends, you have to go find where that next node spawn is and camp that node spawn. And I don't really like the current system, but there's two sources of speculation on why it's like that. The first is the space is tiny compared to the actual map, and with shoving this many people into a tiny space, they wanted to make sure that everybody got a different rarity possibility, and so this is temporary to create a fixed amount for this amount of people in a small place. The other is that this is just a bug and it's not been fixed yet, because it didn't seem to matter how much rarity you had on stuff. But to that point with the hunting system, I didn't actually hear Vertec, I don't know when this was said, that the hunting system wasn't completely up. So I do still want to push to try to get that higher rarity sickle and see if that's true with gathering as well outside of hunting.
Yeah, hunting isn't fully implemented yet, and I hope they make some changes, because it seems like there's a lot of RNG from the bottom all the way to the top with hunting.
Yeah.
for one, you have to kill enough regular monsters for there to be a huntable monster.
Yeah.
So once you get a huntable monster, you might get an animal or you might get a carcass. So there's another RNG. And then
Right.
if you get an animal, then it can RNG into a mount or a beast of burden.
Right. And that's the animal husbandry side. Yeah.
It's like all RNG from the bottom to the top. It's
All right, thank
RNG
you,
all the way
Neurotoxin.
down.
Yeah.
But
Well, and you know what else is crazy is I, as like a level 4, not even hunter, was able to pull a high rarity skin, or carcass rather, with like my common whatever hunting bow as a level 4, and nobody else had even seen a rarity that high yet at that time. And they were actually putting time and effort into their things, and I was just like, I don't even have the Santa hat, so it's not a Santa hat luck thing. I don't know. I just it's there.
yeah. And I can say, at least with fishing, I don't think rarity is necessarily broken. It could be, I suppose it could have more rarities dropping, but it, with my storage, when I look at it, it feels roughly decent, because I have everything with a with an apprentice rod at purple level. With purple mats creating it, I get mostly commons. Obviously, I get a good chunk of greens. I have a semi stack of blues, some purples, and then I have some heroics. Not many of the heroics or blues, so like the blue and the gold, I don't really have many of those. I think I have one purple, maybe two.
Yeah.
Maybe like 2 epics.
Okay. I haven't seen anything above blue with a rare apprentice rod. Interesting.
Okay.
And this
So,
this is part of the reason why we do this show, is because we like gathering, like, I don't know, I'm actually really excited right now because this is our first time having our show with the game live. We tried during Alpha 1, but unfortunately we were moving in the middle of that too. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think that like having your guys' perspective kind of gives us a wider variety of people to kind of reach from, because all I can do is talk to the people on our server in game, and I think that there's so many things that you're going to experience that we haven't experienced yet, and vice versa, because of being on a different server and the way that your server built things versus the way that our server built things. And Seiken says, I think we're so juvenile in terms of node maturity that the weapons we have right now just aren't proccing what we need. Let it age some. Does it need tweaked? Yes, but the jury's still out. Like, obviously I think that everything needs attunement to this, perfect example, and this is also following up with Rarity, is in one of their most recent patch notes, they added the ability while you're getting the granite and basalt, you're also able to get ruby and copper and zinc from those things, and I think that is one of the best things that they added, honestly. I've seen this on a few other YouTube vids. This is out right now. It's the Alpha 2 is out right now. The testing phase is out right now. Yes.
The second
the game
phase
is not
of the second
live.
alpha.
Yeah, it's in its second alpha phase of testing currently. And right now it's up. Like, if you have an alpha 2 key for testing, you can access it. It is currently live. But yeah, on the grind next week, excited. Yeah, I'm gonna be on my own grind next week, but also it's like I saw your comment about the pirates jelly beans. We're gonna come back to that in a second. The basalt and granite drop feels like less than 1%, but it's a start. Yeah, I agree. It's a start. But it's, I think that this is a great point where, like, if this goes into live later, I think this will be great, because that whole entire time you're going through novice to get to apprentice, you're getting all these other procs, Yeah,
getting a little bit here and there, and I think that feels pretty decent myself.
Yeah,
but
I haven't gotten anything off basalt or granite, but basalt and granite since that. Oh no, I've gotten stuff. I've gotten copper. I've gotten some ruby. Had a bunch of pirates come to my channel. It's really good. I do wish we were all on one server, even though we most didn't want that. Yeah. And it's just for new people, if you have time away from the topics. Yes, we can definitely do that at the end of the show if you want. That's our, like, kind of chit chat with whatever things that chat wants to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, definitely. Also, if you're interested, that was actually one of the things that I had in mind to make a standalone video, is like my tips and tricks for newcomers coming into the testing phases and some things that might make your life a little easier. Thank you, Nemesis. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Hello. But yeah, and the final thing is for processing. I don't know if you've experienced this with cooking, but kind of going back to the sickle is that the ability to make the sickle, you kind of need everything for at least the basalt weapon mold or the slate weapon mold. It has to be the same rarity in order to make it. It's not the same as crafting where you have some of this and you have some of this and you can mix it together and it comes out to be like whatever the average is between those materials. And Buttercup Clover, who is also on our server, she's the mayor of Miraleth on our server, says that processing needs to be the same as crafting, where you can mix and match rarity. With animal fat being pure RNG on a rarity and having it impossibly much higher than like rare, it locks all items using it like weapon molds to rare essentially. And you know, we have things like legendary slate and legendary copper, but we're stuck at blue, which means everything else has to be downgraded to blue, and you're just kind of like, I can't make anything with this right now.
Yeah, yeah. I would
hard to do anything
absolutely
level
agree
20.
with that statement. Yeah, it needs to be able to be blended. Like, you put in really good stuff, like, even when it comes to actual cooking, you put in some high quality chicken, but you use your off the shelf oregano and whatnot. Like it's gonna have an impact, right? It's gonna taste better than, chicken that's freezer burnt, let's say.
Right. And to Pocket's, point, you won't want to make a common or uncommon slate mold either, because it's not worth what the other items take for that. But Neurotoxin says, to be fair, though, the slate mold only counts for one component. You can offset it with the rare single epic component of the rest. And yeah, I agree. You can still get it to be heroic that way. It's just for the competitive, like, fine-tuning person like myself, like, but I could have a higher, rarity value on my sickle if I had a higher rarity. Animal fat is just rough. I agree.